Hello, and welcome to the Life Sketches channel. Greetings, I'm Emma. I'm a 40 years old, very sexy woman who takes care of herself, works out regularly, and became a mom at a young age. I saw this channel while browsing YouTube and decided to tell my story here. I'm currently on the verge of a big decision that could change my life completely. If you have any ideas about it, please let me know in the comments. I really need your input. I will tell you my story starting from the beginning so that you can understand me better. I have been married for 20 years. My husband, Andre, is 14 years older than me. After getting pregnant after a fling with my husband, I was forced to get married. Andre was very well off financially. I was known as the most beautiful girl in our neighborhood at the time. I had just turned 18, and Andre and I had a fling after school. I got pregnant afterwards. I had no feelings for Andre. It was just a fling. I wanted to have the excitement of youth with him, but when my father found out I was pregnant, he said, "Girl, this man will make you very happy. He will also help your brothers and sisters. You have nothing else to do because you are pregnant. You have to get married. This is a great opportunity for our family," he said. He convinced me that we would all be happy. Shortly after I got married, I gave birth and my son Albert was born. The birth of my son changed my life. Even though the distance between Andre and I lessened somewhat, I could not fall in love with him. Nevertheless, over time, I developed a habit and respect for him. Years passed like that. Our life went on smoothly. Albert is now 19 years old and a university student. He is studying at the university I dreamed of attending but could never go to. He is very successful at school. He is very good at his studies. This year, when he said he wanted to live in a house close to the school, Andre was against it at first, but he was finally convinced. We found out that Albert was moving in with a friend of his. His friend's name was Harold. One evening we invited Harold over for dinner to get to know him. Harold was a handsome, very muscular, dark-skinned, 6'4", very good-looking boy who played on the American football team. He was a very well-mannered and good-natured young man. He was only a year older than Albert, but he had a very mature demeanor. Andre took an immediate liking to Harold. When we moved in, we realized that Harold's family was not doing very well financially. He was struggling to pay half the rent. I said to my son, "I'll pay Harold's rent too, no problem." This made Harold very happy. He kept thanking me and telling me how kind and thoughtful I was. A couple of times a week, I would go to Albert's house and tidy up, help with the housework, and I loved having Harold there. Harold's kindness and compliments warmed my heart. He often said I looked young and well-groomed. Sometimes I would catch him looking at me with his eyes, and I felt honored. I liked the feeling of being admired by such a handsome young man. I began to feel a warmth under these looks and words that made me smile. One day, Albert called me. "Mom, the electrician is coming to the house. We are at school. Can you take care of it?" I agreed and went home. When I opened the door, I was startled by noises coming from inside. I walked forward and saw Harold in bed with a woman of about 35 to 40 years old, completely naked. I watched them for a while, then I came to my senses and was shocked. I rushed out of the house, not knowing what to do. I couldn't get that scene out of my mind. His muscular body, everything about him was perfect. He was like a stallion on that woman. The more I thought about it, the more I alternated between jealousy and anger, but I couldn't stop thinking about him. 2 days later, I went to Albert's house again, trying not to look Harold in the face. When Albert left for class, Harold came up to me. "I'm so sorry for what you saw that day," he tried to say. I tried to drop the subject, but Harold wanted to explain the situation. "I have no emotional attachment to that woman, just a need," he said. The jealousy that arose in me surprised me. Suddenly, he hugged me from behind. "I've been in love with you since the first day I saw you. I've lusted after your perfect body." I was shocked. I didn't know what to say. He went further and said, "When I was with that woman, I dreamed of you. In every relationship, I dream only of you. I can't think of anything else, Emma." Hearing those words both embarrassed me and ignited a fire inside me. My husband and I hadn't been together for almost 2 years. As I said, we had only had a respectful relationship. I was pleased that such a handsome young man desired me. It reawakened a sense of womanhood in me. I turned to Harold, and we locked eyes, and it was a very warm moment. I wanted to tell him it wasn't true, but before I could voice those thoughts, he suddenly kissed my lips. He wrapped his muscular arms around me, and at that moment he made me feel a womanhood I had never felt until this age. It was as if he had given me the elixir of youth. This was not just a sensual thing. We belonged to each other with love and lust. That day, there and then, we made love 5 times. At that moment, all boundaries between us were broken. In the following weeks, my meetings with Harold became more frequent. The attraction I felt for him grew every day. I had fallen madly in love with him. A woman like me, who had been in an unwanted marriage for years, who had not received any attention, had officially come back to life. Harold's touch, the femininity he made me feel, almost brought back my youth. But it excited and frightened me at the same time. It was getting harder and harder to hide from Albert and Andre what was happening between Harold and me. Harold would often say, "I want a child with you. Let's get married as soon as school is over." These words put me in a deep dilemma. Could I afford to leave Andre? It was not easy to end a 20-year marriage. What would Albert do if he found out that his mother was having an affair with his best friend? My heart sank at the thought of the pain this would cause him. I knew that this affair had brought me to an emotional and moral dead end, but it seemed impossible for me to give up Harold. Every day I ask myself, is this a mistake? But when I look into Harold's eyes, when I'm in his arms, I forget all my questions. While I continued my unhappy marriage with Andre for years, this passionate love with Harold was the only thing that kept me alive. What should I do? Should I risk everything and start a new life with Harold with an uncertain future? Or should I continue my unhappy but safe life with Andre? This great dilemma wears me down a little more every day. Thank you very much for listening to my story. Please share your comments with me below. I would be very happy if you give me advice. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I need your support for my story to reach more people. This will increase the number of people who can help me. Have a good day, and see you again in the next story.